on a Wednesday. Going live on a Wednesday. Going live on a Wednesday. Here we go. Welcome to the channel, Facebook page. Tom Simons is going to draw you, the viewer, a drawing today. This is going to be of a wonderful person who I know, who I'm fortunate enough to have crossed paths with along this vast, great journey of life. And that is Samantha. And she is a very talented artist and creator of many things. And I saw this photo from her recent trip to, I think, Iceland. Does that make sense? Iceland, I think. And I said, I need to draw this. I need to learn about this landscape, and I'm going to put Samantha in it. This is just a great drawing, but we're going to style her up a little bit. I know, for one, she's into playing dress up in a really big way, and we're going to talk a little bit about her while we draw this portrait. She is all about costuming, and I have many friends out there who do cosplay work. Maybe you're familiar with her work online. Um, Her website is redpaindroid.com, Redpandroid. I'll write that down in a little bit as we're drawing. I'll have that up on the background. She does wonderful costume work. She's got a great dog named Fenris, who is just a big foof, who's amazing. And on her Etsy shop, she sells some great stuff. Etsy.com/shop/Stiarna. Stiarna. We'll post that up too. Has her band of shield maidens that she marches in protests with for justice, peacefully, but for justice. Very good. Very good. We're going to incorporate some of those shields, I think, in the drawing today. And look at that. Look at that. Look at that floof. Isn't that amazing? So we have a bunch of great reference pictures. Some of her friends from the Viking world, I would assume. Some great costume work from Samantha. Oh, Wastelander Weekend. Also great inspirational stuff. Might have some interesting poses from this collection of photographs. Look how cool that is. All the Road Warrior Mad Max feels. Just want to get my engine going. Just gonna start hitting that gas pedal a little bit harder. Gets you fired up, doesn't it? Gets you fired up. Shield wall stuff in Fenris. We love this dog. Love this dog. Love this dog. We're trying to incorporate a little bit of Samantha style. Look at this great fur kind of stuff. Probably use this. Very Game of Thrones. Very cool, very fun stuff. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, let's get this thing started before. This is a great pose too. Isn't this cool with the witch kind of magic wand kind of stuff and the legs going different directions here? This is pretty fun. Wonderful. We're getting inspired. We're brain loading right here. We're looking at a lot of images to preload our frontal cortex with imagery that'll then filter into our subconscious, come down through our neck, sternomastoid, across the collarbone, down the deltoid, across the biceps, into the forearm, and out the fingers, and hopefully into the Wacom pen that'll go onto the Wacom screen. We'll make an illustration from it. Some of our good friends also doing wonderful costume stuff. Very, very fun. Cyberpunk stuff, very fun. I'm liking the braid kind of hairdo thing here. Definitely going to be having a long red braid like she has in this original image. So we're going to have this image up on the left. Let me see if I can incorporate a few pictures together here so that we can always have her information up on the left to throw her some love. If you guys want to support her store, we can have you do that. We're just gonna write quickly. What is it? Redpaindroid.com, and I think you can find most of her stuff there. And we're gonna use the stroke tool to add some border to that text. What color do we want that border to be? How about green? How about a dark green? That's cool. Like that. Like that. Redpaindroid. And I think she's got an Etsy shop with some really cool stuff on it. So we're going to put that down here just underneath. We're going to go etsy.com/shop/ I believe it's Stiarna. Stiarna. Feel free to correct me. That would be awesome. All right, we're going to draw her. Save. This is going to be reference Samantha. It's good to say you're referencing a file in the same folder as the file you are working in. So what's this going to be called? Call this Lady Viking. Lady Viking. Maybe asking yourself right now, Tom, why are you wearing headphones when you told us in previous broadcasts that you don't even hear anything? Well, I found that once the headphones off, I spoke quieter, and then the audio feed wasn't as clear on the broadcast later. So until I get some kind of microphone feedback set up so I can hear myself talk, Sven, I got to talk to you about this. I know I'm procrastinating. Coffee today by Black Rifle Coffee Company. Very good. It's a mix of their vintage blend and the just black blend. Just black. Mix of both of those and served just black. Why? Because I'm out of milk. And plus the coffee's so good you don't even need milk. It's smooth. It's delicious. All right. How do we get started here? What do? We draw. We make marks. Make marks and loosen the arm up. Get the whole thing just kind of moving around. Getting really excited about. We're going to be drawing today. I actually, just by making marks, I saw a really interesting shape in here. I saw some kind of knight, kind of Mandalorian character, just in the lines. And I might save this for later because I am interested in this being. There's a neck here, and then there's a chest protector, and then some kind of artwork. I don't know. This is going to turn into something maybe later. Maybe this is going to be an illustration. See, that's why we just make marks, is because we could somehow yeah, how cool. We have a robot thing already. We're going to save that for later. Robo Man. I'm thinking of that Cyber Ninja character from Metal Gear, my friends and relations. Oh, this is going to be really interesting. I think I'm a little overwhelmed by this rock. It's great, and I want to capture it. I'm not going to go to color first. I think I'm just going to start with tonality. We have the gray background, or it's actually a green background today. Let's kind of block off what our piece is going to be. Really rough. Let's mass in some big shapes. I got my brush with some transparency on it. I'm cranking up the size of that brush, and we have a background rock that's something like this, and then much lower up in the front we have a foreground rock that's something like this. Let's check the stream. Is it working? It seems to be working. Pretty cool. It seems to be cruising along. We're going to send a quick link of my stream to the group chat. Show video URL, copy, and then I have to go to another group and then post the live stream. Here we go. Post that. Post. Cool. And we can get back to what we're doing. So this will be fun. This will be fun. Streaming live. We got it. What is it? 11:30. A little later today than I'd like to be, but a little earlier than I was yesterday. A little earlier streaming on Facebook. My sister wanted me to text her when I went live, so that's what we just did. So maybe she'll pop in the chat, maybe she won't. But you know what? We're having a good time, whether you can be here or not. If you can be here live, that's amazing. If you can't, I'm loving the live streamed concert experience. Last night, a couple friends and I watched a Fish show that was streamed from their website on Facebook, or not Facebook, on YouTube. I say things just to fill time, and I got to be better at that. I got to get better at thinking about what I'm saying, but my brain's actually thinking about what I'm drawing. It's very complicated, very complicated. It was a YouTube stream of an older show that Fish has shared for free with the YouTubes, and he was able to watch from his house, and my other friend was able to watch from their house with their whole band of ruffians, and I was able to watch from the safety and comfort of my own home, and I had a great time listening to music, playing some games, talking. Everyone's talking about the show and what music is being played. Now, it almost feels like you're at that concert. You crank the music up enough, have yourself a little drink, and like, wow, this drink is so much cheaper at home than going to Merriweather Post Pavilion and spending $10 on a little, sippy cup of your beverage of choice. Just roughing in some stuff. I mean, getting the color might be a little too specific right now. And then there's going to be this really awesome little hut house thing in the foreground. It's real a little lighter, just to put it in front. And there's some wood, some woodsy color, real dark, real saturated. It's actually desaturated. It's saturated for wood, but a desaturated color. It's on the left side of the saturation spectrum, right? Cool. Cool. I think it's important during this time of strife to say thank you for the life we all had up to this point. Hopefully you had a life that had more ups than downs. I understand people had it rough beforehand, but maybe in this time you can say thank you to those who have inspired you to do anything in the past that made your life maybe a little bit better, or inspired you to make someone else's life a little bit better. And I want to say thank you to Samantha for making my Facebook feed better, because it's got positivity, it's got cool images, it's got some poses, and it's got a fiery redhead. So that makes the Facebook feed better. Thank you. Drinks to you. So hopefully I'm going to try to make your Facebook feed better by not getting into the politics, by not getting into complaining. And instead we're going to talk about creativity and overcoming the great crisis together. One stay-home order at a time. One stay-home order at a time. I'm just happy, and I'm fortunate to have this equipment. Very fortunate to have had the career I've had. Up to date, 15 years. The game industry, 4 different companies, contract work, helping different people out. Along the way, I find I work best when it's for somebody, when I'm doing work for somebody else. If I'm doing work for myself, it's really hard to motivate. Just do it for me. Just do it for me. No, I can be selfish for sure. Like, I'm gonna order a second scoop of that peanut butter chocolate ice cream. I'm gonna eat that. I'm gonna eat that. You can share a little bit. Here's an extra spoon, but I want that ice cream in my belly. I can be selfish about things, of course, of course. But when it comes to making artwork, I do a better job when it's for somebody. I made some artwork for my siblings and my nieces, and that's always been a lot of fun, and I'm always pleased with the results there, because you put a little love into it. Maybe I don't love myself as much as I should. Maybe if I love myself, I would make art for myself that would be good. That's a thought. That's some getting deep on a Wednesday. Maybe I'll think about that later. Maybe I'll do that robot for me later. Just do a robot for you, Tom. Just do it for you. Monday we did a landscape for Dustin of Art of Craftsmanship channel. And today we're doing a little plug for Samantha's shop. I'm going to be ordering some of her stuff. We got to take a quick look at some of the stuff she sells. Let's take a quick look at the Etsy shop here. Because why not? We got the internet. It's running right now. Who knows if it's running a week from now. This is cool. Stiarna. Etsy shop Stiarna. and she's got some cool jewelry. I'm going to be getting one of these walnut embroidered patches. I might order a few of these because a gentleman I know who does training also recognizes the walnut, and I think he would dig this. So I'm going to order probably a couple of these things. They're pretty awesome. There's some awesome Byzantine chainmail necklace. How dope is that? It's a good price too. It's not that bad. It's pretty awesome. Um, hey, my sisters who are watching this, let me know what you guys want. If you want something from Samantha, I'm gonna throw her some money and get something. This is dope. These pendants are dope. Really cool. Really cool. And Samantha, you can hold me to that. And I said on my stream, I'm gonna do this thing. I want my word to be my bond. I'm gonna go order some junk. Let's order some cool stuff. Order some cool stuff. All right, we'll pull up Samantha's show again later. All right, so we kind of have our background. Pick this kind of what is this color? Looks like a light sagey kind of brown color. I love that word sage. I use it a lot in the stream. It's a good thing. Like some people use like cadmium red. They love that. Or Bob Ross loves titanium white. I like that sage. Slate. Those words feel good to say. Something like that. I don't think I have the verticality I really need here, so I'm going to select all here and then use my control tool, control T, and then I think control again and reshape this just a little bit, narrowing the painting in. That feels a little bit better because I'm seeing that the middle of my drawing is there. Control R brings out the ruler, drag from the left, middle of that image. So the peak of that rock is going to be on the left side of this image. If I'm keeping the same composition here, which I think I will. That's just one less decision I'll have to make today. So I'll just control shift this, bring this in just a little bit more. In the interest of time, we're going to be relying more heavily on the control movement things. I mean, that's something that you do with 3D modeling too. You use FFD boxes to manipulate your mass. Once you get your geometry laid down, I'm actually thinking about getting Max installed tonight. Might be getting Max installed tonight. Something might be coming down the pipe where I need some 3D modeling. I gotta stretch those legs again. It's a muscle I haven't uh, been using, the 3D modeling muscle. I haven't been touching it in a while, and I used to do a heck of a lot of that. So, okay, so now we're seeing that the roof is actually right in the middle. You know, whoever took this picture, Samantha, you should give them a thank you because they did a very good job composing this image. It's got nice balance. You know, you on the right, balance against the peak on the left. The building is perfectly centered. Or maybe you cropped the photo because you're an artist. You cropped it to be a good composition. I see. Well, it's a little bit of both. The photographer obviously put you in a good place, you put yourself in a good place, and it all worked out. It was a collaboration, and we tied. Everyone got a tie participation trophy in this exercise. This is pretty cool. Just doing a real quick thing here. What's going on? Oh, there she is. Samantha hopped in. Excellent. Excellent. I mean, how can I not draw this image? This image is amazing. This image is amazing. I'm going to learn about drawing rocks today by looking at this rocky image. It could be a rock from another planet. It could be from, what's the Ridley Scott abomination of the Alien series called? Prometheus? God, there was so much I wanted to like about Prometheus. Wanted so much about it. And then they retconned like the wonderful mythos that came from the other movies. That's Covenant. Covenant was the really bad one. Like the visuals are incredible. The visuals are absolutely stunning. The music's absolutely incredible. That soundtrack for Prometheus is banger, banger. I love it. I love the look of the engineer guys in that movie. The alien dudes are pretty baller, and that superhuman J.J. Watt, proportion kind of thing. I'm gonna need to do a portrait of J.J. Watt one of these streams because he's just, Mega Man crush. J.J. Watt, Juju B's gonna put on a show. Gonna put on a show. J.J. Watt. We're gonna channel little J.J. Watt later when the coffee kicks in, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Samantha, feel free to chime in with stories or whatever. Maybe down the road we do like a little art hangout chat, talk about your work. I don't know. Do whatever you want. Talk about what you make. I get about like 50, 60 views. 50, 60 views from people on the East Coast, friends, relations, family. Hopefully that's going to increase as time goes on. But honestly, um, I think I'm going to be getting kind of busy with other commissions and artwork. I'm not sure what the nature of this channel is going to turn into, but we're going to be Twitch streaming next week in the mornings to do some work for another friend of mine named Sean out in Oklahoma. Ooh, Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping down the plain, where the waving wheat it sure smells sweet when the wind comes right behind the rain. Ooh, Oklahoma, every night, my honey lamb and I sit alone and talk and watch our hawks flying lazy circles in the sky. I can keep going, but I'll spare you. Props to all my musical theater friends from back in the day, circa 1997, 8, 9, 2000. That was fun way back then. Gave me some confidence to talk in front of crowds. Probably why this is possible right now. It was so scary auditioning for musical theater when I was like 12, 13 years old that nothing else could be as bad. Like I was so embarrassed, and I had this crush on one of the girls who had the best voice. This girl had the best voice in my school, and everyone who's watching this who knows who she is know who I'm talking about, and everyone knows I had a crush on her, and it was great. And my family gave me so much shit. They're like, Tom, you gotta ask her out. You gotta ask her out. Come on, you got a crush on this girl. You gotta ask her out. I'm like, no, she's not. She's not gonna be into me, man. She's not gonna be into me, man. And it was just childhood misery trying to like deal with my emotions and that. Anyway, this chick is awesome, and she is a wonderful artist today and lives in New York. And her name is Dara Gollin, and she ran a great TV stream on her show. I think it was called New York Love Songs, and she interviewed musicians and she sang in a band in New York City. I think it's like Tilly and the Singing Makers. I forget. I'm terribly sorry. I'm forgetting the name. Great group of people though. Absolutely great group of people that I was exposed to growing up. Some musical theater people. This very talented piano player Dan Michike now is like the music director on Wicked on Broadway. Some friends Chris and Paul did recently are on like this comedy show on television, Make the Funny. Chris was in Book of Mormon for a while as Elder Cunningham, and it was just so cool that I got exposed to these people growing up and inspired. I think Dara her dad was a great performer and played Tevye, Fiddler on the Roof, and I'll never forget that performance. He was completely passionate, completely in the role. And I had seen the movie with Topple. That's just a great film, and it's a universal story, even though it's about like one of these Jewish hamlets in Russia, and it's just kind of a brutal, dystopic kind of existence. It's about the balance of tradition versus modernization, and I think that's always going to be a theme. It's a very human theme of, how do you adapt to changing times? How do you adapt? What do you keep from the past, and what do you hold on to moving forward? Flash forward to working at Firaxis, working with Sid Meier, the great, legendary Sid Meier. He would say about making sequels: 1/3 old, 1/3 new, 1/3 improved. I'm seeing this. There's like a triangular shape here. I'm just going to lighten this area just up just a little bit. 1/3 old, 1/3 new, 1/3 improved. And that's the formula for making a sequel. So maybe that's the balance as you move forward. Like every every generation, we take something from the old, take something else and improve it, and then we do something new on our own. So how does that apply to society today? You know, how does that apply to art making? Well, part of my process is rooted in old composition, line drawing, etc. Improve would be color because I'm still using color, but I'm using this digital medium for it. Improved, not that it's better color, it's just it's faster. I can get to color so much faster and work with it so much faster with these tools here. Oh, Samantha commented on one of those places. And then what's new? Well, I'm able to stream it directly to you as I'm making it. That's pretty new. That's really cool. I mean, Bob Ross was the last person to do that, but it was digital PBS Studio. I'm able to do this from the comfort of my own home. So Samantha says that this place is the Rutshillier Cave in South Scotland. So this would be an entrance to a cave system? This is not a house right in front of this thing? Wow. And this is in South Iceland. South Iceland. Did I say Scotland? I was thinking Scotland. That's awesome. Gotta go. All right, let's get to making, let's get Samantha in the foreground here. We're already 18 minutes into the show. So we're going to quickly draw her pose, and then we're going to exaggerate it, kind of like we did Dustin last week. I mean, Dustin's came out amazing. Where the heck did Dustin go? We're going to do something like that. I wonder if Samantha, are you aware of Dustin's YouTube channel? He has 580,000 views in one of his videos of making an axe or a bow or something. It's really cool. He takes old axes and cleans them up, makes knives out of old files and blades and stuff. Super, super sweet. Art of craftsmanship. So I did this fun thing of a Dustin. I made him jacked. And this was the original pose. So before, and after. That's kind of what we're going to be going for today. Let's see if we can get part 2 of that. It's part 2 of that going on. Dustin, art of craftsmanship. Love that guy. And his wonderful bro. So generally, okay, so we're seeing where her proportions are lining up with. So about midway through the roof, head, it's drawing a straight line like a lollipop, straight down, just to get started. All right, so feet somewhere around here. And then in the middle would be the pelvis, hips area. So arms coming out, you know, shoulder, contrapposta. That means the left shoulder is going to be, let's go with a bright green so you guys can see this. Head, long neck, arms out here, arms out here. Now we're going to make her into a fighting pose, but we at least want to get the proportions somewhat started. There, and then this is more straight to the camera, and then down, and then out. So the leg thing is pretty great. So this figure looks pretty big in relation to the background here, but we're probably going to keep it that size. Let's go a little bigger, just for the sake of the illustration. We're going to center her body along the thirds of the image. So if this is a 6 inches high, it's 7. It should be 6. So 2, 2, 2, and yeah, I messed something up here. Something like that. So generally we have our thirds. This isn't exactly the thirds, but we generally have our thirds, and we want to center her kind of right on that third line. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. And then we have this other rock that's on the opposite side of the third line in this area here. So we'll just put a little bit of extra, you know, crust, kind of green stuff, crust up there. It'd be kind of fun. I love that there's all these lines and directionality in the background, by the way. And I want to make sure I get this big shadowy shape before I forget, because I really like that. There's a line that's coming up to the left, and then it comes up and around. There's this whole face that's here that brings our eye back around. So we have the eye can enter from down here and then come up through her and then up over this way and then back up and then spiral back up here and then like ride this wave back down again, and it brings us back here again, is what my eye is doing inside of this picture. It would be nice to bring it over to the left too. Like, can we get something where we're throwing our eye back to the left side of the page? And I think that's going to be a sword on fire. That's what that's going to be. So we have an image of Samantha holding a sword that's on fire. Let's go through the reference. What do you want, Samantha? Do you want the wizard pole, or would you prefer the sword on fire? I'm thinking the sword on fire. It was used to house sheep. We found some bones nearby. That's awesome. That's pretty awesome and creepy. Fire sword is pretty dope, but that thing's pretty dope too. We're gonna see this thing where it's out. It's got a hand on the end of it. That's really cool. It looks like it's holding a smoke grenade. You get that effect? That's just awesome. That's awesome. All right, we're gonna try both of those and see what one works a little bit better. Let's hide our extras and the ruler. We don't need it anymore. Let's go back here. So do a duplicate of that. Hide the first one. Erase this head thing. So I'm thinking like we have her arms are going to be tilted like this. We've got a shield wall. Shield wall of one. We have the Viking shield on one arm out here, and then we're going to be doing like this, like some kind of Link Legend of Zelda sword out in this direction. And we're just going to fill it in just to see the silhouette. Does the silhouette work for us? I learned that from Moby Frank, great concept artist, works on some Valve games. Really funny. I actually ran into my mom's neighbor, is his brother-in-law. Random, but great. Moby Frank, he did a lot of the wonderful concept art for Team Fortress 2. Love this stuff. That whole project dealt intensively with silhouette, the importance of recognizing silhouette at a glance from very far away. And he has these wonderful grayscale drawings of the different characters. There's the heavy, here's the engineer. Very different silhouettes between the characters. The internal details matter, but not as much as the external silhouette. Look how small the Pyro's head is, how giant his gloves are, how small his boots are, and he's got this gas tank pack on the back. It's very recognizable from far away. So Moby Frank, excellent, excellent, excellent illustrator. Worked on Defense of the Ancients 2, Left 4 Dead, and then some just wonderful landscape color studies for Team Fort. Big inspiration for me, and I think the entire game industry. What Valve did with Team Fort, making it more stylized, and then the rendering tech behind it. There's a great GDC talk out there from my game dev friends about the art Bible for Team Fort and Dota that Valve released. Very good stuff. Awesome, Devin. What's up, man? Claiming it live? Yes, man. Flaming Sword. Absolutely. Okay, good. I'm not even going to draw the other one then. Okay, I did say I would draw it. I'm going to draw the other one. So if she was doing a wizard pose, we're just copying this just for the sake of variety. I did a lecture yesterday to some Micah students, and the professor Jackie Ross was asking, do I do a variety of thumbnails before I get started? Yeah, sometimes. Usually, that's if I have more time, I might spend a while doing little thumbnails of a character. Um, so if she was to hold this like magic wand thing, just for experimental process, would it be something like that? You know, this is just to kind of see what that would look like. And then would it glow? Would it glow? Would it some magic business? See, the smoke, I want to make it like cross through, and that's fun, but it's kind of hiding the building behind it. I mean, this might be another interesting character to do at some point, where she's got the wizard thing and a big cape. Something like that would be fun in the future. But I think the flaming sword Viking thing is really what we want. Yeah, it's going to be easier to do. Call that other one wizard, warlock, witch. Don't know the terminology. Oh, shield maiden. Shield. Cool. Can we make that pose a little bit stronger? I'm visualizing it. Shield, sword. Would I want to be out more, like push out that way? Am I showing the inside of my arm? Let's try a different one. Let's copy that. Let's draw the arm a little different. Erase, erase. I'm visualizing the arm over here. And then the hand comes up and over. So we're seeing the thumb side. The stronger, tougher top of the arm, then less of the softer inner arm. Is that better? Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit. Let's rotate this a little bit and just see what kind of directions we can get using my transform tool. Is it better up? Is it better higher? Is it helping bring the eye background into the scene? Now I wanted it to go back down again. I want to get it over the other lower third point. So I do want it to be down, kind of casual. Okay, this will be good. The arm is straighter and then it's out in profile. I think that's what I want. I think that's feeling pretty good about that. And then we're gonna have, let's find the reference for that sword that's on fire. It looks more samurai swordish, doesn't it? Like with the way that hilt is. And the way the band's wrapped, it's two-handed. But it's fine. It's fine. You could do more of a Viking kind of blade, or like a very simple. Is it a pommel? The cross part? Because I think the Vikings did like a longer version of the Roman sword. Definitely have reference. I mean, you can Google search, Viking stuff for sure. Some of these guys. Oh, okay. So it is this. This is drawing from an Osprey book. They do have kind of a slope on one side, so it's almost like a buoy point at the end of it. But then, yeah, simple pommel, maybe some decoration, but it's kind of short. Is that right? Is the pommel at the bottom? What's the crossbar called then? Devin should know that. They make axes and swords and stuff. Hilt? Is that what's called? The hilt? Shoot. Parts of a sword. I'm butchering this so bad. The tang? That's the part that goes in. The pommel's at the bottom. Rain guard? The hilt is the whole bottom part. This doesn't label the part I want. The cross guard. Okay. Okay, so it makes the cross and then it protects the hands from forward action. Okay. The cross guard. Neat. Pommel's at the bottom. The tang is the part of the blade that goes into the hilt. Cool. We're learning. We're learning stuff here. Very neat. Oh no, where'd my stream go? I thought I used the other window to. I used the streaming window to go search that. It's pretty funny. Doobie doobie doo. All right, so let's get a little bit of Samantha's portrait in here. So we're going to go back to darker skin tone. Keep that red braid coming down across her chest. Let's go a little lighter with the color. We have a lot of neck exposed. Probably might not be the same way if she was in full shield maiden gear. I would expect some kind of leather armor with maybe some chainmail or some plate scale armor that would protect all of her upper bits. So we might add that. You want generally align. The zipper line is great for showing what the front of her form is, where the vector coming off of her torso is there. And the line of the eyes kind of tilted up just a little bit and then down. It's pretty pixely reference here, but we'll find another image to get information from. The musical theater was pretty great, and wanted to acknowledge all of them. Oklahoma was a play I was in. I played a villain named Jed Fry, and the hero was played by David Smith, the teenage heartthrob of Coonan Middle School. Played Curly. Great guy. He was an artist too growing up. He liked to draw silly pictures. Went off to the Marines and went to Iraq. Thank you for your service, David. I hope you and your family are well. If you happen to find this broadcast. We served our country over in the sandbox. Let's find another more zoomed in picture of Samantha so we can get a good likeness. Ooh, and we have to put Fenris in too. That's right. Never Doge. Let's look at this we're going to be using this photo for more likeness type stuff. So bring that image into Photoshop so you can see what I'm working on. So it's not the same pose anymore, but I'm going to be looking at her face for the reference points, if you will. Like Abe-san Giamo, my portrait teacher in college said, start with the hair. We're going to be braiding this up, but we're looking at the hairline itself. So we have this little bit of a peak in the front, and then there's a part here. And then it comes back. Ear is here. Her neck. Got some of her jewelry that she's made. Strong eyebrow, thicker in the front, and then a gentle crescent over. Pinker on the lips. So that shape. So a broader upper lip. Just a little bit of an indentation there. Remember, it's because her face is slightly tilted away from us, we're going to see more of the left side of her face, and then the right side is going to be foreshortened a little bit. A little lighter on the nose, and then a little pinker on the end of the nose. There we go. You might need to crank up the resolution a little bit higher. I just want a general, this is like a general loose likeness for now. We'll crank the resolution up more in a bit. So we're not getting the silhouette of her face in this portrait really. We're going to have to take a look at another photo in order to get the reverse silhouette. But it's probably, I would assume, it's going to be something like that. Look at that eye shape. Very wide almond eyes. Bottom lip needs to come in. Something like that. A little more saturated red. Not quite red enough. So there is a little bit of a smile line. I think in the other photo, she's definitely smiling. Yeah, she's got a lot of smile going on. So we're going to try to get a little bit more smile there. A little lighter on this side here. A little redder, more saturated in the cheek crease. I'm going to airbrush really lightly. Cheeks. Yep, that looks better. Airbrush that, airbrush that. Pinker for the lips. Soft chin. Pinker up lighter. Cheeks. This might be good enough for now, and then we'll come back to it later, just so we have generally what's happening here. Let me see if I can get another angle. To get the silhouette of her face a little bit better. All right, this kind of Valkyrie, mother of Thor kind of goddess person has the right face shape I'm looking for. So I'm going to have this up over there, and then I'm going to adjust how her cheek comes in. So I'm seeing that her forehead really starts to recede back steeper. Yeah, so that's a steeper cut, and then it's still widening around to the edge of the eye, and then out to the cheek's pretty high, top of the high cheek, and then down there, I think, is more like the cut of her jib. And then chin is receding just a little bit, so just a little more saturated, a little bit of shadow there, and then highlight on this side. Pink highlight on the nose. Highlight on the cheek there. That's getting a little better. Yeah, cutting that cheek in suddenly felt a lot stronger, doesn't it? A little veiny in this picture. Oh, that's pretty cool. A little more shadow information, which is good for drawing. I want this to be more saturated. Maybe a little purple, just a little hint of some blue or some purple in the shadow. Might be fun. Purple's this royal color. Anywhere you can put it has that subconscious effect of royalty, prestige, wealth. And purple and red, bounce off each other very well. Cool. Pretty nice. Purple in the shadow, shadow, shadow. Pretty fun. Thicker upper eyeliner. Now, how open you want the eyes to be is really up to you. This is more relaxed. When the eyes are a little more closed and relaxed, they're relaxed. If they're wider, they're more aware, more awake. Cool. What's up, Brandon? Brandon's in here. Cool. Nice to have you, dude. I see you and Samantha are chit-chatting. Very good. Samantha is a pro artist and gamer. I remember Samantha playing some Silent Hill back in the day at Micah. It was fun. Fun to come by and watch them terrify each other. Her and her roommate. That game's too scary for me. Way too scary. I do another image where I can get her ear. Probably not. Not a lot of ears in these pictures. All right, I got the cyberpunk one. She's got a little bit of an earlobe there, so we'll just try to work that in. Darker. Yeah, and then just kind of cover that over. Get a little more verticality on the top of her head. A little more elevation as maybe the hair is up and pulled back into the braid that's going to be on her right side. Braiding is not something I know a whole lot about. I'm just looking generally at the shapes. I'm seeing these two kind of pill-like forms. So you have pill, 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 pill. So I might go look at, I might get separate reference for what that would feel like as we get to that part of the drawing. I want to get into some of her armor. Like this, that's a lot of detail for where we're at in the overall picture. But I wanted to bang out a little bit of portrait work before we got to other kinds of details. So the rest of her form, let's think about some armor that we can give her. What it would be. I mean, typical Viking stuff back in that time was actually kind of boring, in my opinion. In the real world, you had uh, probably a few layers of undergarments and then chainmail and then the overgarment that would determine what kind of clan you were in. I think Lord of the Rings did actually a really good job using that kind of inspiration for a lot of their armor. And I love there was this TV show that the History Channel or Discovery Channel had, which was like who would win in a fight, and one of them was like a ninja versus or samurai versus a Viking. And everyone's like, "Oh, samurais are super badass. Like they're totally gonna crush the Vikings because all this martial skill set and the lore of the samurai sword being so cool." And then they did this test. I mean, it's fiction, right? It's like a television show, reality TV show. So how accurate can they really be? But they made a compelling showcase of taking some samurai armor and hitting it with blunt Norse instruments, and it cracked. It like broke and was easily penetrated. And then they had the chainmail, like a Norse chainmail set, and hacked at it with a samurai sword, and there was zero penetration at all. It couldn't get through the chainmail, and I think it came down to metallurgy. Like Europe just had better metallurgy; they had better metals, better iron, and the reason the samurai swords are so these mythical like works of art is because the Japanese craftsmen needed to fold over those blades so many times to get the impurities of their iron out. I guess they just happened to have worse iron, something like that. Hey, Savannah is here. Cool. Glad you liked the piece. Hope you're doing well. Hope the new kiddo's doing well. Very excited. Miss seeing your artwork out there. Hope you're making some stuff. So what kind of let's think traditional first. We're gonna have some kind of over outer garment, and then a chainmail. Curious isn't the right word, but some kind of chainmail garment that comes down through most of her upper torso. And then we have to have a belt, of course, for the sword and sheath. And maybe we go with like a little red, kind of a square upper garment, like heavy cloth. Green because, yeah, it'd be like green with some blue. It'd be fun to have like a pattern where it's like alternating. I feel like that's more medieval. Um, yeah, it's more English or medieval time kind of thing. I mean, we could do a couple layers. We could have like a green one underneath of a blue one because they would probably wear, if it's cold, you might wear several layers of garments. Might be fun. A little lighter up there, a little darker underneath. That's cool. And then there would be chainmail that's exposed there. And maybe some chainmail and then like some kind of collar thing that protects her neck against the chafing of the chainmail kind of stuff that's coming up. Maybe that'd be cool. Gotta have the boss of the shield. With metals, you start really dark and then you work in a little bit of the environment reflected in there. Back of the shield. The shield's going to be tilting away from us. So the back side I want to make a little bit darker than the foreside. The shield would probably have a flat area. There'd be a boss, and then there'd be a flat circular panel. Something like that. It feels pretty good. Maybe a metal edge on the outside. Shields are super lethal, not only for punching forward, but that side, if you get like a 20, not a 20-pound shield, that'd be a very heavy shield, like a 10-pound shield going, that edge has like a brunt impact force, a lot like a hammer. So you could do some serious work. Saw that on TV once. Can't say from experience that I've knocked anybody out with a shield before, but they were very capable weapons in their own right. That's why the Romans were so eager to use the pilum, which was a throwing javelin that would bend. So it would stick in a shield and then bend and make the shield kind of unbearable to use and slower to use. So the Romans would show up, launch all their little pilums and spears, and try to take out the enemy shield wall by making the shields ungainly by adding the spear weight to it. Thanks, Savannah. Glad you're digging the streams. The shield's a little straight up and down. We might tilt it just a little bit. And the great thing about Photoshop is the Control T transform tool. So I'm just going to grab a little corner and tilt the little corner out just a smidge to make it more interesting. There we go. That's pretty cool. And the beautiful thing about shields is when you have one shield on, usually you don't have to draw an arm. So one less arm to draw. How cool. How great. This color scheme is a little bit accidental, but I'm digging it. So we have a blue heavy garment and then like a green undergarment, all layered up over the chainmail. And then I'm thinking forearm's going to be probably wrapped in some kind of leather and metal kind of plate, forearm protector, greave thing. And then the hand would probably be pretty wrapped up. Thinking the forearm might be a little short here. Might be a little short. Yeah, let's extend that out a little bit. And grab all this business and move it out and down. Let's see how that feels. That feels a little better. Get the silhouette. Thinking about Mike Mignola right now, the great artist, writer who did Hellboy, and how chunky his style is and how he uses silhouette to great effect. Heavy, heavy, heavy on the silhouette, negative space in his drawings. Chainmail, let's make it the chainmail skirt go actually pretty low, down to just above her knees probably. I mean that'd be a heavy garment, but it would also be really strong and protective. Because it would be easy to get hit in your thighs if you're in a fighting stance where your knees are bent and there's blades swinging around pretty often. Imagine it'd be a little harder to get hit below the knee in that kind of environment. Knee, I think. A lot of these garments had some kind of border, some kind of trim edge to them. So on this blue one, maybe we'll have like a little gold, like marking insignia. Real subtle, just a little something. And then on the green garment, there's going to be some kind of leather wrapped little edge to it. Might be fun. It's feeling very Legend of Zelda-y. I think that's why I'm kind of pushing it that way. So I've been playing the heck out of that game lately. Looking forward to a little Zelda break tonight. This evening when it gets dark out. We had a beautiful spring morning here, and then it got pretty dark. So she would be wearing pants, as I think a fighter would in those times. Leather, and then boots. The famous Pictish warrior I was thinking about too, Boudica. I got to do some design for her character for Civ 4. I believe it was the Warlords expansion pack. That's Civ 5. I think it was Civ 4. We had both. She was in both. We had Boudica in both Civ 4 and Civ 5 franchises. I got to do the initial sketch for the character, and then it went to Sang Han, who did an amazing paint over. Let's look at that real quick. Let's see. Thanks, Savannah. I'm glad you dig the way I'm building up colors here. Sang Han portfolio. Sang is an incredible illustrator, real patient. Yeah, this looks like his stuff. Sang, I had the pleasure working with at Firaxis for many years. And his illustration for Boudica was dang good. I just don't know where I might find it. Boudica Civ 5. Yeah, there's Sang's drawing of Boudica. Great artist. Good job, Sang. Very cool. So I did the initial sketch that had some of the costuming and some of the ideas of like garments. I did a bunch of research, and then I sent a sketch over to him, and then he did the full illustration and added a little bit more detail, specificity, and of course his wonderful, wonderful painting style. Great job, Sang. And then I think Ryan Murray did the model for Civ 5, and then it was cosplayed. Someone went and cosplayed this at Katsucon or something and did a dang good job, if I say so myself. That's always really cool to see something that you worked on get cosplayed. I gotta say, that's like my favorite thing. And then they hired they hired a model to like actually like dress up for like the box cover. I did the Attila the Hun guy too. I mean, Attila the Hun was really fun to research. Let me see if I got that. Simons.deviantart.com. Deviantart.com. That was the cover. Civ 5 Gods and Kings. All right, that's what it was from. They put her on the cover. It's pretty rad. Sword's a little small there, but oh, she has that's like an extra dagger thing. And then she's got her main sword over there. Got it. Pretty funny stuff. That was really weird when that phase at Firaxis Marketing just would hire actors to pose for the box covers. Like, they would just go and do some cover thing and not even tell the art directors locally what they were doing. Good times. I do not have my Attila the Hun drawing here. It's from a long time ago, anyway. Oh well. Enough time about that. Boudica. Yeah, some steps. Here. Got a big old sword. Nothing will be on fire. We'll do that last. We can put a little fire out right now. Screen. That's freaking awesome. You know what we're forgetting? We're forgetting about Fenris. We need to add Fenris into this drawing right now before I forget. Because who doesn't want to add a puppy? Oh, we gotta add a dog. Gotta add a dog. Load him up in here. Boom. How awesome is that? Was this cold? You got a little look of like, yeah, it's cold, but I like it. I'm enjoying it. There's just a little bit of expression. It's like, I wish I had a warm pumpkin spice latte right now. Just a little bit, like 5%. Could really use a little bit more hot tea, maybe chamomile, a little rum in there. It's a cold day. Actually, you look like totally comfortable and stoked to be there right now. This is fun. We're having a good time. We've been streaming for an hour, ladies and gentlemen. Hour and 11 minutes already. Got to get Fenris in here. Let's get Fenris. Let's put him down here, maybe right in front. I think that'd be fun. You know, drawing this boot would be a good time, and maybe we still can. But we're gonna have Fenris kind of right. It'd be fun to put him. Let's loosely draw him here. Let's get him masked out. He's a poofy dog. He's a poofer. He's a poofy dog. Would not mind being quarantined with him. Just keeping him fed, though. My goodness. The amount of dog food and demon souls you must collect for Fenris to be full must be just, you know, pallets delivered every single day. You got forklifts unloading the bodies of the damned to feed Fenris's hungry belly. Such a proud foof. A little lower energy today, I gotta say. A little lower energy. Coffee was good, probably didn't have enough of it. Went pretty hard while hanging out watching a stream last night. Maybe recovering from that. But ladies and gentlemen, we're still being productive. You don't have to be at 100% every day. You know, every once in a while you could be at like 70%, and that's just okay. It's better than being at no percent, right? Right? Fenris is a dog. I believe Samantha sells some of her own Fenris fan art in patches. Get yourself a Fenris patch at her store. Let's check out her Etsy shop, huh? Did we do that yet? Did we do that yet? Not really sure. She's also... Oh, we did go to the Etsy shop. We have not gone to redpaindroid.com yet. Let's go check out her apparel, and I hope that there is some Fenris stuff here. Sparkle Viking, designed by humans.com shop Sparkle Viking. And I think I remember there being a t-shirt. Yes. Gaze into the face of Floof. Ha! Order that t-shirt. Get it. Get it now. Buy now. Awesome. Yes. What a good dog. What a good dog. It's going to take our time with this drawing. Let's stylize it just a little bit. I think we're going to have to get a little liney with this drawing to complete something in the time allotted today. I want to wrap this thing up no later than 1:30 in the afternoon, because then I have to run a meeting. I'm going to be hosting some hangouts. If people want to hang out and jump in, we'll talk about that. for some art folk I know in Baltimore and around the country. This dog is so huge. I like other people's dogs, man. I don't need to have a dog myself, but I do like visiting other people's dogs. My neighbor, a wonderful lady next door, has a giant German Shepherd Roddy thing, and it is terrifying. And every day, I get barked at through the window as I'm getting out of my car. It's, whoa, 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 whoa. Jesus. I haven't gotten to actually like meet the dog in person. Get out and be like, hey, what's going on, buddy? I think the lady next door is using the dog as alarm system / home defender. So maybe she wants to keep it angry and scared of strangers for her own protection. And who can blame her for that, really? You can blame her in this time when social distancing is required to scare people away. I think that's fine. Now, Samantha, do you find that your dog keeps people away, or do they just come up and want to pet the puppy? Imagine if you go walking with your dog, people are like, I want to come meet your awesome dog. I have to imagine what Fenris's feet look like a little bit, because they're buried in the snow in this picture. It's got to be another picture. Where, it's good to zoom out every once in a while and see where we are. Looks like I made Fenris a little too big. We can keep him, huge. Nope, not on fire. Stay away from the fire, Fenris. Let's shrink you down just a little bit. Just a little bit. Something like that. That's kind of fun. Would it be better to put him behind? Yeah, I think it actually does. We'll put Fenris like right behind there. It's good that we kept it on a separate layer. Cool. Yeah, that works. That actually works pretty well. That way I can still draw the boot. Because I like the boot point there. We'll return to Fenris later. We'll bring him back. Let's get some more of the scene kind of fleshed out. Gonna do. Let's put the text up top. I wish I had like 3 more cups. Like 3 more cups of coffee. What's up, Al? He says love is in the house. Love is in the house. I'm feeling it. Feel it right here. Ah. Ah. Wolf of Wall Street, ladies and gentlemen. Devin's waiting to add the tank. I will not be drawing a tank in this one. I have an interesting fire sword that will be my Hell and Fury. So I don't need to add the tank to this drawing. Okay, we made some really good decisions so far. We know where the massing of the rock is in the background. We have the majority of our figure in the foreground. Gotta finish the boots. I feel like it's just too unfinished in the lower third there. So we're just going to bust out the silhouette at least. So I'm seeing that Samantha is wearing some very form-fitting jeans that give us a nice highlight on her calves when the muscular calf is pushing out just a little bit on the edge. So we're going to honor that calf and give her that silhouette that she deserves. She worked hard on that. She worked hard on that muscle. It doesn't just show up. You don't get jacked calves just by hanging out playing Zelda like Tom does. No, you got to do some walking. Got to do some dancing. Got to get on the stair climber. Stairmaster 5000. Got to slay some dragons. Get calves jacked like that. Demon Slayer body. So what's nice here, she's already got some furry boots on, so that's going to help us a lot with the silhouette. As we're going to take, I mean, these are probably more modern boots. I can't tell if she's wearing gaiters. Probably not. It almost looked like they were gaiters for a second over the boots. Should add a little bit more waterproofness to that. Just going to leave them dark for now. Maybe a little bit of fur on the top. Something like that, and just a little bit of shadow. What's nice, you know, it's funny, in this pose or this reference scene, she's standing on a darker piece of walkway, and it's acting like a shadow of itself. It almost feels like she's an action figure, and that's the platform, like a little toy soldier that she's standing on. And then you can just take that 3D printout of Viking Lady and just put it anywhere on your desk. Maybe we should do that. Maybe we should talk about an action figure series. Get McFarlane Toys involved. That'd be fun. So they had a job opening out in Tempe, Arizona. McFarlane Toys for ZBrush folk. Sculptor, character poser kind of people. That might be fun. I like Arizona. I think it's outside of Phoenix. That'd be cool. I haven't done a whole lot of ZBrush stuff, like the high-end character stuff. I'm not so experienced with. I know a lot more about low poly, like 500 to 1,000 polygon character modeling, kind of stuff I did for Civ. Stuff I did for Mohawk and Stardock, Oxide. Now, Oxide wasn't character work. I did vehicle work for Ashes of Singularity and Star Swarm. And we got our little walkway. Now we have this grass stuff. So it's pretty patchy, but still interesting. So I'm going to start with this like darkish kind of base layer, and then I'm just seeing that there's this slightly lighter tan color that is in some patches, and then a mossy green in even smaller bits of patches. This is going to be our visual language for this ground. Is 50% of this dark stuff, 1/3 of lighter stuff, and then like 1/6 ratio of this green stuff. And interestingly, there's more of the light stuff by the pathway. And I wonder where that is. So it gets darker as you get away from the path. Maybe because the water runoff is better? Not really sure. Fenris is he's very white, and he stands out pretty bright in this example. So I'm going to take Fenris and darken him down a little bit. I'm going to sample this color and maybe like 30% overlay on Fenris here, just to blend in the background color with him just a little bit. Let's go normal, 20%, 15%. Get him into the scene just a little bit. Bring some of the ground color. Yeah, that's better. All right. Unlock transparency. Go 100% again. Give him a little bit of ground. I need another. Now remember, feet are always going to establish what the ground is. So we do want to make sure that his ground plane toesies are in a similar plane of existence as Samantha's feet. So I'm feeling pretty good about this composition, so I'm going to merge those two together. Turn the fire back on. Oh, it looks like the back foot is actually going back like this in the photo reference. He has another foot that's kind of behind Samantha's here. Something like that there. Something like that there. All right. What am I seeing as I look at this image? Well, the upper right is pretty empty. Let's flip the image and see what we get. So we have a lot of directional movement from the lower left to the upper right, and there's nothing happening in this upper left of the image right now. In the photo reference, it's just like a flat pale blue. And then we're actually losing, because I chose to give Samantha this green and blue garment, we're actually losing it contrasting wise with what's going on in the background. So that's probably something we're going to have to solve for the sake of this demo. First of all, let me go a little bluer. Let me get that pale blue sky airbrushed in just to get the right color going. That's cool. All right, a little smoky, a little foggy. That's fun. It's fun stuff. Cool. So what do we do to make that more interesting back there? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to add a giant monster. I think that'll be very fun. We're going to add a troll. Let's add like a silhouette of just a real big, just rocky troll guy that's going to be coming through the mist. I think that'd be fun. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So he's got just a big troll. I love the rock villains in Zelda Breath of the Wild. I think they're just super awesome. Rock giant monster. So this character, this thing's going to be absolutely huge. What are those rock characters from The Hobbit called? Like in the mountains, and they're just fighting. Make it made of rocks. Let's go a little Mike Mignola with the softer shoulders and bigger torso kind of thing. Maybe like, what if Easter Island kind of characters came to life and they went and visited this universe that Samantha finds herself in. Yep, this is fun. This is no fun. We're getting somewhere. Shadow, rock monster. What fun, huh? What fun. We can have a little fun with this. Like, hi, hey you guys. Hey, I eat rocks. Mm-hmm. Who doesn't love having a big rocky friend that can smash some stuff for you? Love the Goron people in Zelda. They're just great. Super cool. That's fun. She's posing for a Viking portrait as the troll sneaks up on her. Doosh, doosh. Savannah wants a dragon back there. I think a dragon's a good idea, and I think you should draw a dragon because I'm not that good at drawing dragons. I could draw a little dragon, maybe a little Skyrim kind of dragon, like hanging out there. Man, how disappointing was freaking end of Game of Thrones, man. That was super, super frustrating to watch because that was just awful. Just so disappointing. Nobody got what they wanted. So I realized something about Game of Thrones. I don't mean to offend anybody while you're here, but like what was really disappointing to me in Game of Thrones is that why did you spend all this money on this huge series if it had a weak ending? Like the reason stories get passed down and why stories become myth and become legend is because they're interesting, because they have a good beginning, middle, and end. They have some kind of hero's journey. The story's only worth telling if it's satisfying at the end. You don't tell a story doesn't become popular if the ending sucks. So there's this assumption that's made on the part of the viewer that is, okay, HBO, you're showing me this story, you're asking for my buy-in, and there is going to be a payoff. That's the relationship. I'm coming to the movie and I'm going along with you on this journey. It's like listening to a joke. You gotta wait for that punchline. The punchline's gonna hit. And if the joke is like 40 minutes and the punchline sucks, well then you're never gonna see that comedian ever again. And that's what HBO did, is they came up with this amazing narrative, incredible story, and the punchline fell completely flat. Fell completely flat. And if you have an audience of 100 million people, you gotta focus test this thing. You gotta make sure that punchline's gonna hit. At least with somebody. I don't know anybody where that punchline landed and they're like, that was great. Right? Disagree with me if you know what I'm talking about. Thanks, B. But I didn't get it. Why spend the time to make this thing if the ending sucks? Why? It would have been better if they just didn't, like, just don't even watch the last season. God, the tactics. There is a great write-up by a military veteran guy who does a tactical analysis of the Battle of Winterfell. And it's like, this is the most inept generalship he's ever seen. Talking about mixing air and land and just the lineup of battle, like the whole tactical plan for that fight on the part of Jon Snow and Daenerys was just idiotic. And it is a brilliant write-up. It's the only thing that was funny for me that came out of Game of Thrones season 6. The only enjoyable part was watching some general, some pissed off staff officer dissect and destroy the tactics of that fight. It's so good. I think it's called Angry Staff Officer. I think that's his blog. Angry Staff Officer Battle of Winterfell. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. This guy's great. The real failure at Winterfell. This is just my favorite thing. This guy breaks it down. He's got a picture of Gettysburg. Yeah, I love going to Gettysburg and seeing that battlefield. It's pretty cool. He's talking about the strategic movement. Oh my goodness, this is so good. Indirect. As can be seen in Figure 1, after breaching the wall, the Night King moved directly towards Winterfell, the location of the enemy force. This was not unreasonable. He had confidence in his superior force and gambled on a single battle to secure victory. However, it also chanced all in a clash of arms. Superior choice would have been to move across the Lonely Hills to take White Harbor. The army of the living encamped around Winterfell was sustained by maritime logistics going through White Harbor and up to the White Knife to Serwyn. At Serwyn, it would depart for a final stretch north along the King's Road. By taking White Harbor, the Night King would have stopped supplies coming to Winterfell by sea, extending a force to Serwyn athwart the King's Road would have cut any land-bound supplies coming from past Moat Cailin. It would also provide a base from which to observe Winterfell. This is such a great article. If you just want to get pissed off like Tom is right now, but have a great laugh at the end of it, because I love military history, I love all that analysis stuff, I love all that specific stuff. Angry Staff Officer, the real failure at Winterfell. Posting that link in the comments right now. So good, so good. Look, I love the Aubrey Maturin series novels. Devin saying everyone was so afraid of the Dothraki that they got knocked out in 2 minutes. Oh, yeah, it was stupid. You never send your cavalry first for anything. They're your eyes and your ears. They go on the flank, and they're designed to exploit gaps. You send off like one dude with like some napalm to illuminate where the enemy is. You don't send your entire cavalry force first. That's charge of the light brigade shit. It's fucking stupid. Cavalry is also your most expensive thing. Keeping horses fed is a ton of resources. Learning how to ride a horse is tons of resources. You can train up. Oh my god. You can train up a spearman in about an afternoon. In about an afternoon, you can teach someone how to use a shield and a spear and maybe a week's worth of drill. You got a pretty good, guy with a pole arm ready to like impale some people coming at him. Cavalry? That's a lifetime of practice riding a horse. So fucking stupid. So fucking stupid. So Angry Staff Officer goes into like how he would have arranged the whole thing. Dealt a much bigger trench, a lot more spikes, defenses in depth. It's got in. Like use your dragons are recon. You could recon the enemy with just like strafing runs. Jon Snow, that's your airborne recon element. He's got a flare gun. Just every 5 minutes, just blast some fire into the sky and hopefully illuminate where the enemy is and see what their numbers are. So stupid. So stupid. All right. Got away from drawing. Got that ran out of my system. Got some dragon dude here in the background for Savannah. He also does, Angry Staff Officer does some great tactical reviews of Star Wars battles, like how stupid, some of those battles are. But also, like, the Battle of Endor is actually pretty good analysis. He does a pretty good analysis in that. Yeah, comes down there. It's going to get some little fins on it, some stabilizers. Cool. We're having a good time, ladies and gentlemen. Having a good time. He's got some chips. This guy, this walking, friendly rock ogre business. He's gotta have some lit up eyes, because what giant doesn't have glowing eyes? That's cool. And the Shadow of the Colossus homage thing going on back here. Hey, I'm friendly. Thing there. Love Iron Giant. Big fan of that. Alright, so this is starting to feel a little bit more balanced. A little bit smokier, atmospheric kind of stuff in front of this dragon here. That's cool. Alright, awesome. Let's flip it back. Image. Flip horizontal. Dope. It's good times, ladies and gentlemen. We're having fun today. Starting to wake up a little bit. Coffee's kicking in. We have enough interesting stuff in the lower left hand here. We have enough interesting things. I think we need a steak on a rack. So we're just gonna, put a big old piece of meat right here, and there's gonna be a little fire underneath. I think Samantha used her magic powers to start a fire to cook up some lamb roast, maybe. I think that's what's going to be happening right now. Pretty cool. Got something added. That's fun. Pretty cool. Got a lot going on here now, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get a little bit more of this rock because I want to learn a little bit more about this awesome background we have. What do you guys think? Don't tell him, Devin says. Don't tell him. Yes, exactly. Exactly, Savannah. The meat reminds me of the bokoblins from Breath of the Wild and Heather always chilling with a steak. That's exactly what I'm thinking about right now. Exactly. Spot on the nose. A+ star for the day. That big, and you can't leave it behind after you take out all the goblins. You gotta take their meat, even if you have no inventory space. Like you're eating some fancier thing, like some potion, like oh, the sneaky speed potion that's taking up inventory spot. I need a steak. Can't leave meat behind. Can't leave meat in the background. Exactly. Or when they have little like, I love just the detail of it in that game. There's a fire, and they'll have like a couple spears sticking out of the ground, and the fish locked onto it. And you can grab their cooking fish. And you just take in their fish. That game is so good. So good, so well thought out. I just got to the desert area. I did the whole right side of the map, and I got to the desert area, and I'm afraid because I'm afraid. I'm naturally afraid of the desert. Not enough water, and drinking water is not a mechanic in the game. If you notice, you don't get thirsty, like, and you don't really get hungry. You use food to replenish your hearts. I kind of want, after this is all done, maybe the True Hero mode has this. I would kind of like a mode where you have like the survival mode in Skyrim or some of these other RPGs where you have to worry about thirst and hunger and like constantly eating and weight. Like what if you could only carry like Witcher style a shield and two swords and maybe a bow on your horse and you have to go get your bow if you want to do something. That'd be fun playing like hard mode. Now it's really fun to play like super, Zelda Link has unlimited carrying capacity, is carrying 40 pole arms and 400 arrows and enough food to fill a platoon for a month. And that's just cool. Like he's got Hermione's bag of carrying everything magical, uh, semi-tractor trailer load carrying capability everywhere he goes. 18 sets of armor, uh, infinite bombs. Just it's so silly. It's so silly but fun. Boy, is it fun, right? And this rocky outcropping here is feeling like Mordor a little bit, right? Frodo and Sam are crawling through the rocks, trying to avoid the goblin patrols. Then Sean Connery shows up on the beach. Let my armies be the rocks and the trees and the birds in the sky. Come on, Dad. Gotta run away from the Nazis. Can you imagine those movies like kind of merge somehow? Like, Frodo and Sam are running away from the Night King, and they jump through a wormhole, and suddenly they land in the back of the biplane that Indiana Jones and his father are driving in. Junior, seems two hobbits have joined us. What shall we do with these two? And then Frodo's like, "Who are you?" Why, I'm a research scientist, anthropologist, and you two belong in a museum. I like that idea. The Adventures of Sam, Frodo, and Indiana Jones. Let's make that. Let's make it a cartoon series. I think that'd be great. And Harrison Ford just has none of their bullshit. Frodo's like, so Sam, oh Frodo, shut up, boys. We need to get out of here. And there's snakes. That would be awesome. Just like, I love how pissed off Harrison Ford is all the time. He's always pointing that finger. No, give me the ring. Can you imagine? Love that. And then somehow, like, Sean Connery's got all the knowledge. While I've researched this ring of power, you know, Junior, it has the ability to combine the 9 armies of men against the one true villain of the universe. Junior. We're having fun, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, what are the big shapes that we need to think about? There is some kind of flat front-facing wall here, and then this is a receding wall that's coming. It's going to have a darker, let's say bluer background to it, and it comes forward. So we're going to glaze in a little bit more shadow, and then the edge closest to us. It has a little bit of lichen on it. We're just going to pretend this is like the leading edge, and then there's a brighter face here-ish. It's a lot of complex shapes going on here, and rendering this to all make sense will be a challenge. It will probably take hours. So how do we make it clear for our viewers now? We have to break out the line, get the line work back working for us. You know, try to simplify it to make sense really quick. Just painting colors in this instance is not giving us enough clarity for our viewer to understand what all is going on. So line is there to make course decisions. Very cool. Very cool. And this is a little crack here. This triangular shape is really interesting. We have a little bluer underside to it. So that's more interesting now. So now we have the foreground, middle ground, background, thirds of just the rock itself. And then we cap off the top of it with this moss. The moss is a little visual language that we can put the moss on any kind of leading front edge. People will understand that. Dark blue, the area behind the house. Made that roof a little high, so we'll knock that roof down just a little bit. Go moss bits, a little green up there. Remember, we did make the figure a little taller to be interesting here. Now the downside of the figure being taller, it makes the rock look smaller. Like if I made Samantha in the foreground smaller, we would have a much, it would just feel like a larger thing back there. But I want to fit it all in here. That's just going to be a sacrifice I make for the sake of this particular drawing. All right. You're all along with that. You understand. You understand. Y'all understand? Afghanistan? Do y'all understand Afghanistan? No, I don't understand Afghanistan. There must be a song over there. You don't know why we're here? Why are we still here? We got Bin Laden a long time ago. By the way, he was in Pakistan. What the shit? Pakistan. That is like the real world Mordor. Now, I've met people from Afghanistan. They're wonderful people. It's just a shame that this they happen to have been born in a place that is a permanent war zone. It's where the continents collide and where cultures collide in an unfortunate way. All right. was watching a documentary made by a Marine, Ivan from kitbadger.com, and he has a series of his personal videos from when he was deployed there in 2001. And man, that landscape is just a barren nothing. Those valleys are pretty cool. Imagine if you were just living there and like herding sheep and raising, goats and family in a peaceful way, probably pretty nice. Fighting over those valleys, oh, fuck that noise. And our turf. Much respect for all the veterans who have gone over, though, in the positive causes of trying to bring peace and stability to a place. And the allied Pashtun Northern Alliance people that we fought alongside with to get rid of the Taliban at first. It's a shame. But you know what? I wasn't there. I probably shouldn't talk about it. Just kind of venting some opinions, some thoughts. This rock is just so darn cool. I'm seeing a little warmer colors on the up-looking slope on the area of the rock that's facing to the upper right. It gets a little bit warmer, and I think that's pretty neat. There's some lichen on top. Maybe a little bit greener, a little bit yellower, very tippy top, just a little bit, Lichen just a little lighter. It's fun. It's pretty cool. It's feeling good. Kind of simplify a little bit. Simplify just a little bit. How's everyone doing out there today? You guys having a good day? What are you planning on doing with your afternoon? Got some foggy, kind of light day. Weather looks kind of nice. Typical spring, mid-Atlantic region. It's a nice spring day here in south central Pennsylvania. Penn's Woods, as it were. I don't live near enough woods. I wish I had a couple trees on this townhome community I bought into. Wish I had a few trees. A few more trees. Right, let's get working on the sword thing. We kind of abandoned Samantha's equipment here for a little bit. As we get closer to her figure again, we'll go back into the drawing part. I know you all got things to do. If I'm just rambling and bothering you, you can tune in later. I have no problem with you watching the footage either on Facebook or YouTube and fast forwarding through the whole business. However you find you like to be entertained, I want to support that. That's why YouTube's amazing. It's on demand, right? I think it's really ironic that what's become popular on Facebook are these live videos, when the beauty of the entire medium is that it can be watched whenever you want to watch it. It's like there's this pendulum swing that went from like pre-recorded television, which was the standard for the longest time, to live TV, like real world kind of stuff, and then that was because of the writer's strike. And then YouTube, like on demand, I want to watch whatever I want to watch whenever I want to do it. Like Netflix, I want to watch this movie now on my terms. And then there's this live thing again, like back to 24-hour live news, commentary, that kind of stuff. Live television, Saturday Night Live, and now Facebook Live, and YouTube Live, and Twitch streaming. Like people are into the live. Let's participate with the entertainment medium we're interacting with. Savannah says, the desert was my favorite part. If Link needs to drink water and eat food, he should also have to use the bathroom. Good point. Good point. Link's got to go number 2 sometime. Jesus. He doesn't have to sleep in the game. Could you imagine all the bowel problems Link must have? If he had to go number 2, like eating that crazy, like you accidentally eat some goblin guts once or twice, you probably get some very weird things in your mouth when you live in Hyrule. I like to think about the physics of that universe. Like you can fly on this tiny little paraglider thing. That means the air density has to be super thick air density, and then gravity is probably pretty low there. So what kind of planet, what universe is Link in where he can float with such little material. He's super strong. So maybe he grew up on a planet that was high gravity. I think Star Trek has had many episodes about this, where there's aliens that grew up on big high gravity worlds, so that they're just stronger. Their whole anatomy and biology is designed to deal with stronger gravity. Therefore, they've got a lot more muscle mass or muscle density. I think Vulcans and like humans are like some of the weakest human like creatures, bipedal intelligent life in the universe that Star Trek is in, and everyone else comes from bigger planets, stronger, older, like tougher, bionetic, like bioengineered super soldiers kind of stuff, Cardassians, you know. And humans are like, well, we're just crazy. We're just the weird ones who will science the shit out of any problem. Right? We're gonna science the shit out of this. I don't want too much fire by her um, hand, right? Whenever they do this, they dip it in oil and then light the oil up. How did they do this, Samantha? How'd you get the flaming sword look thing? This is awesome. How did they do it? Is there a fuel in the blade? Is it a special blade that's got a reservoir of fluid in it? Or is there a gas bottle in the handle that's pumping some propane through it? I'm seeing some holes. I'm curious how they do that. Man, it's cool. Got so many messages coming in. Having a good time, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, artists from around the realms of men, and man, and beast, and Fenrith. Fenrith is a good dog. Who's a good dog? Who's a good boy? Let's resolve a little bit back here. A little detail in the background. That's green. More of this mossy stuff. That's so cool. I would love to go here. Love to come visit this place in Iceland. I keep wanting to say Scotland. Iceland. I only got to go to the UK once, and it would be fun to go back and stop in Iceland on the way. Iceland to Ireland kind of thing. That'd be fun. See Glasgow. See the royal tattoo. Love to do that someday. Meet the new king, right? This queen is going to be retiring and leaving the throne to her grandson. Pretty exciting. Pretty exciting. I mean, Queen had a pretty good run. Pretty damn good run. I wonder what he's going to do. Like, I wonder if end of the British monarchy is in the future. Like once the Queen passes, whenever that is, a long time from now, will the new king dissolve the monarchy, or will he keep it? I feel like it's a very 21st century thing to do, to say, you know what, that was a good run. I think we're going to end this whole charade and maybe make it some museums. And then I'll pose for pictures and I'll have my sponsorships, whatever have you. But we're going to save the British taxpayer 10% of their income a year just by not supporting the monarchy anymore. I'd be very interested about that. I mean, Japan's going through a bit of that right now. I believe that the emperor has retired as well, and I don't know what the son's doing. I don't know if he passed it on to the next generation or what. Let's look at some of Samantha's shield reference and try to get that knocked in. Oh my goodness, we're almost at 2 hours. We are at 2 hours, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to be wrapping up the podcast. I just want to get a little bit of logoing and Samantha's shield as Justice or Ragnarok. We're going to try to replicate that on here just a little bit. We'll just write it in. We'll just write it in Justice. Justice. I think that'd be fun. It's got some runes, got some Celtic symbols or something. Got to see an awesome pagan Norse show with Samantha out in California. Got to see Heilung, really cool. Heilung, Viking band from Denmark, I think. And that was awesome. I mean, we were in the same crowd. I didn't get to see her at the show, unfortunately. And she went to that. She's such a tough chica that she went to the show with a broken leg. Pretty awesome. I like this font a lot. Rock. Been doing some lettering for fun lately for some other projects, and it's tough. Lettering is very time consuming. Something like that. A little lighter up front. Justice. That's a good band too. Justice. A French kind of EDM mixed band. Their song Heavy Metal features a Southern Black college football band, marching band. Really awesome music video. Gets you pumped up. Justice Heavy Metal. Is it Grambling State? Something like that. One of those historic Southern Black colleges. Boy, those drum majors are fun. The high step and the marching, the precision of the band. Really cool. Let's go more red on here. Written in the blood of her enemies, faux show. And I'm sure Fenris over here ate the rest of those enemies. All the meat was consumed by the poof. The floof poof. Floof patrol on the move. Chainmail. How do we draw chainmail? That's going to take a long time. We're just going to suggest it right here. Just do a little wiggle. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Yeah. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Yeah. What happened to LMFAO? Someone's got to know. Brandon, what happened to LMFAO? 2 albums? That's all we got? Was there 3? I don't even know. There was like 5 songs, some hilarious music videos, and then nothing. What happened to Red Foo? What happened to those guys? Did they go like Cypress Hill, like where they're still out there, you just don't hear about them much? What happened? More gold, kind of runes and patterns. It's fun. Something like that. Little thing there, a little bit of hair coming off there. Boom, 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 boom. Fun, having a good old time. Let's do some like this exaggerated line work to kind of make this pop. Picking a red color, gonna just draw very sharply the weave of the braid, just to bang it out. Add clarity to what's going on here, something like that. So we want to wrap this puppy up. We've gone a long time here. You guys have listened to Tom long enough. Time to get on with our day. Even though we're having a good time, we need a belt loop thing. So probably over here, belt thing, and then it's going to be this little like strap that kind of hangs down because those belts kind of get cinched and knotted, something like that. Does that sound? Tom's belly is saying it's hungry, hungry time. Time to get some drive-through Chick-fil-A. Some stew I made yesterday. I made some potato and beef stew. Came out pretty good. Very salty though. High on the salt content. Got to get a little bit more of that lichen down here on the rocky outcrop house. What else do we need to wrap this drawing up? Got the steak sizzling, sizzle steak. This is gonna be like making some smelly vibes coming off of that. Link, fill up your hearts. You've got to save the Princess Zelda. Link saves the day. Hallelujah. Rocks around the pit down here, probably the same color as the rocks up in the background. Cool. Feels pretty good. Feels pretty good. What are you guys saying? What's going on? Devin says, that's the one thing about Breath of the Wild. Wish there was more music. They have a great catalog to use. Every once in a while, they'll bust it a little bit of some of their old sounds, and it'll creep in. You have to let it come in. You have to, if you ride the horse long enough, you'll start to hear some of that different music get brought in. And then as you talk to the different creatures around the world, there's that one bird with the accordion. He plays songs from the back catalog. So I think they're all in there. You just have to go and find them. Could be wrong. There might be a lot more that they could do. For instance, like the shrines all have the same soundtrack in them. I wish they mixed that up a little bit. You spend a lot of time in shrines, which are the dungeons of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and it's always the same music. You know, who am I to really complain? I mean, I'm not judging here. What I like is like one kind of greenish rock that's in the shadowy region. I'm liking this guy. It's fun for me when you all out there in the audience participate. When you write something in, it breaks up whatever monotony I'm in, and then I'm not worried about coming up with stupid jokes. I got something that you guys are giving me to bounce off of. You know, serving. I can hit that back, and then you can hit me something. Hit that back. It's fun. Pretty cool. So check out Samantha's shop. She's got some cool stuff. Done a few things, been a few places, made a few garments. I think it's just a little bit of a highlight on the lower edge. I don't know why the lower edge is highlighted a little bit, but it seems to be the way. And then just a little blue, a little darkening under the seam. Boom, 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 boom. The shadow, just a little blue is always fun. It's pretty cool. I'm having just a blast learning about this environment here. And the more detail put in, the more authentic it can be. But you got to remember, the outside is the most important. Does the whole thing work? Does it work as an illustration first and foremost? So we're going to take a step back in just a second and see if this is working as an illustration by itself, or does it need something else to let it sit a little bit more. We're going to put a little bit of fire, like glow, on the ground underneath, because that light is going to be casting, and then maybe a little bit of that fire glow. It's going to go to screen layer, and then just 30%, kind of like give that some light. And she's getting some light. It's 40%, just the left side of her body, and then the edge of the shield is getting illuminated by fire just a little bit. The knee, a little bit of the hair, and this is just going to get a little bit of that light kind of bouncing off of her and off of the ground. Something like that, as they say. Fire sword. I do like the fire sword in Zelda. The fire swords are pretty cool, but I always worry about catching myself on fire. I don't want to switch to the fireproof armor every time I get into a sword fight. You know what I'm saying? Spoilers, there's fireproof armor in the game. Jeez, I'm so sorry. It's only been out 2 years. Actually, I've been giving I've been giving friends of mine a hard time about spoilers in Zelda. Like, stop telling me I haven't gotten to the desert yet. I haven't gotten to the flying area yet. You know, I'm sure there's an aircraft. There's got to be some kind of airplane thing. I saw it in one of the labs, and I'm excited. A little darker there. I don't like that harsh line of the chin there, so we're going to soften that out. We're going to make the whole neck the darker color, and then purple, and then knock that saturation back a little bit. Let's give her some kind of warm leather, kind of collared, armored thing. I think that'll be cool. This is fun. Fun day. 2.5 hours. Got to wrap this puppy up. Ladies and gentlemen, how do we feel about this? How do we feel about this image here? Well, for one, let's copy and paste the whole thing to a new layer. Control A, Control Shift C, Control V, copies a new layer. Let's take a look at the histogram. Control L. So we have a nice mixing of brights and darks. It goes throughout the entire spectrum. I could crank the lights up a little bit more for print. Yeah, that'll do. It usually increases contrast a little bit. Got to wiggle with the little middle color. That's good. Sometimes wiggling that up gives you a little bit more saturated areas in the darks. That's pretty fun, pretty spooky. Let's flip it, see how it looks left to right. Flip horizontal. This is not as strong of a composition as maybe I would have liked. I think maybe some like just something on the left side to kind of bracket it. I would probably add another one of like this whole massing of this scene. I want maybe something coming off of here going up again. I might add a little bit more, something like that. Something between the main rock and then the background rock monster that's coming up behind. Something to vignette. Let's do a little vignetting here, just a little darker on the edge with this sage grass kind of color. And then what's behind the meat should probably be a little bit darker back there. And then we can have some more lit grasses a little lighter up in the foreground. So there's definitely some gap kind of areas that have missed attention. Let's link this whole area up just a little bit, reducing the contrast. separate the foreground from that background just a little bit. It's cool. Maybe a little smoke's going off of this fire thing. Yeah, that's kind of fun. Yeah, that's cool. Sure. Got that kind of thing. This is fun in general. I think it's pretty okay. Little shadow under Samantha and Fenris' friend here. This is easily something you could put a lot more time into. Let me tell you, knock the contrast back off the background just a little bit by picking some of the flatter medium tones and working them in. You just do a little bit more with the silhouette of this hand that this rock monster has. Who's got two thumbs and loves rocks? This guy. Be fun. He's probably got some mossy bits that are like hanging off of him too. What fun. What fun we're having today. Cool. That guy's great. We love him. And we love all of you for tuning into the broadcast today. This was a great time. Check out Samantha's store. I'll probably keep working on this as the weekend comes in. Had a great time drawing with all you today. Again, here's the source art or the source photography. Samantha, Redpaindroid.com, Etsy shop, Stiarna. Buy some of her stuff. Have a good time. Thanks for hanging out with me today so much. This was great. What's up, Wes? Breath of the Wild 2, Savannah says, is coming up. Very cool. Devin likes all the final touch stuff. Thank you, Devin. Wes says, this brings me back to when you had that course at Art Institute. Love your stuff, Tom. Thanks, Wes. Love you too, man. Hope you're doing all right through this pandemic crisis that we all find ourselves in. Hopefully this unites humanity together a little bit. We take things a little less seriously. Like, don't sweat the small stuff because we got bigger demons, we got bigger enemies out there, and they're tiny. They're little viruses that can multiply and replicate. Be careful and have a great day. Cheers.